It is the RIOT podcast.
Oh, the final one with Hudson for the
my
week.
Last day.
Actually, I should. Hope he's not sick or anything. He's just taking a few days off. But I probably shouldn't say just in case he changes on me tomorrow.
Yeah, we might have to switch it up tomorrow.
No, Obi should be back tomorrow. We have Jay Crum, one of our artists on RadioU, joining us. So he better come in. He better be here. So this is your last podcast for this week with Hudson.
Yeah. So we had a good time, right?
I think so. I always have a great time when you come in.
No gift I didn't get for filling in.
Did you include that in the podcast?
It's definitely brought up somewhere since it came up multiple times.
Which means you're fishing.
Yes. But I think I do mention in the podcast that I don't want a gift because if I get a gift, then I have to give a gift.
Yeah.
Because Jake filled in for me for a couple days.
So you'd have to give back to him.
Yeah, I can't do that. So I was
thinking more like
I can't be trusted. I'm horrible with gifts too. So.
But I think if it's just like a food, like thank you sort of gift, not like money or a gift card. So, I mean, if you fill in again sometime soon, I'll think about it.
Well, we should just do like a food fight. That should be our treat is that we get to eat something when we do the show.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So what else is in the show today? More cicada talk. We managed to bring that up just about every day.
Every day this week.
It feels. And, I like the poop wall story.
My favorite part, you don't get to hear because you can't hear music, but we play this band called Collington Against the Wall.
And it just happened to come up right after we talked about a poop wall.
So I was in the break room and I was listening to this song and I was like, it's a poop wall.
My back's against the poop wall.
Yeah. Or you'll hear it also as a compost fence as the more appropriate term.
Right. But we don't want to be mature.
But we do talk about that.
Yeah, we do. We do get to that. We get to, let's see, Girl Scout cookie drone delivery, MMA fighting in space, and what a spoiler alert, like that's a letdown that you're going to hear.
The news is a letdown, and when they film it, it'll also be a letdown again.
It's just, the headline is good, and from there, you're just not going to be as satisfied with it. And here's a good one. Taco Bell, how you can get free Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. Just the fact that Taco Bell is doing their first worldwide global promotion. Yeah. So we'll give you details on what you might get for the Taco Moon.
Yeah. Set your, we got a free food schedule for you for next week.
Right.
You're just going to hit all the different places.
Well, enjoy the podcast today. As always, say hey at RadioU RIOT on Facebook, or you can text anytime at 877-2RadioU for our podcast listeners.
Yep.
Just include your name and that you enjoy the podcast. Put that exactly as I said it.
Exactly.
That you enjoy it. That way we can say hey and thank you for listening.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
I'll see you another time.
Thank you, Hudson. Bye.
Bye.
The RIOT has now been downloaded. Hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the RIOT podcast.
So McDonald's announced that they're offering it's the caramel brownie McFlurry that they're going to be offering on May 4th. So that's on Tuesday.
Yep, that's the new flavor.
So that's the new promotion. Let's see, it happened. Okay, wait. All right, they got a lot of details and they're making this difficult. So the McFlurry becomes available on May 4th. They say the larger promotion of the flavor happens May 3rd.
Okay.
Where you can get a free dessert if you download the McDonald's app and scan the offer code when you're checking out.
Yeah,
so you don't have to purchase something.
I'll tell you right now, if you just get the McDonald's app, don't worry. They will let you know.
They always
when there's
do it?
a free McFlurry or whatever.
Yes, they will.
Like all these apps, will send you as many notifications as you will allow them to.
Well, I started noticing too on TikTok, like people, they try to go from place to place to get the free app item. Because it's one thing to just get a buy one, get one free.
Right.
But they really try to just eat only or drink only if the item's
stuff.
free.
Yeah.
And it's become a game for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So,
usually, in my experience, it just like limits you, or like the coupon goes away after you use it once.
Yeah, it is just a one-time thing.
Yeah, so
McDonald's says you can also, from May 3rd through the 9th, if you do a $15 purchase from Uber Eats with their McDelivery, then you can get a free one too.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
So that's a no for Hudson. Well, when I was looking at this, I mean, isn't it the Flurry ice cream machines that are notorious at McDonald's?
Yeah.
How can they handle the demand that day and not make people mad because they never work.
They can't even handle the demand on a normal day.
Yeah, when it's not free.
Since you have to do it through the app, though, the app kind of, in a way, lets you know because if the McFlurry machine is down, you can't order it.
Will
at
it
certain
keep people?
location. So maybe that will people will be wondering why they can't order, and they'll know. They'll know. But
you'll have to still scan the code, so you can still go through the drive-through, and you're just scanning the code using the app, so you won't know until they tell you rudely.
Yeah, I guess
at the thing that you can't get what they've been offering.
But then again, it was free, so you know.
You didn't miss out.
You just went for a whole McDonald's trip to get something else,
all right,
and not what you came for.
Now,
but
Hudson. Okay, maybe you don't work this way, but I deal in emotions, and I was probably ready to emotionally eat the caramel McFlurry anyways. So I was all in and all ready to go.
Yeah.
And you're going there, and you're like, and it's free too, so it hurts.
Yeah, it's a lot of buildup, and they're letting a lot of it'll let a lot of the air out of the balloon.
It will, moment. And then I'll have to get more chicken nuggets because I'm balancing out because I'm filling the void.
The void that was left by the no McFlurry.
Well, also the anxiety when you're going through the drive-thru. Because now you have to pretend like you're okay, that the ice cream machine's not working.
Yeah, you don't want to wind up on TikTok because you berated the McDonald's employee.
Like that was the last straw for you that day,
right.
and then you feel bad, but you're not able to handle them saying no, the McFlurry thing doesn't work.
Speaking of straws, did you saw the story that part of this is they want people to know that the spoon isn't a straw, but the reason it's like that is because it attaches to the McFlurry machine to stir everything. I never knew that.
You didn't know that's how they made it?
I also never thought it was a straw spoon, but...
So you didn't care either way.
No, I didn't, but I always was curious about why the spoon was like that, and now I finally know.
They use a lot of social media in the last couple of weeks to educate people because everybody thinks that, I can just use it as a straw and that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
They say don't because sometimes, this is them bragging if they're trying, sometimes the stuff in the McFlurry is so big, like the add-ins that they don't want you choking.
Yeah.
So they really don't want you to use it as a straw. They want you to use a spoon.
You almost missed hearing this one. We just couldn't let that happen. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
This might be a way to save $5.
Yep, there you go. You can trade the ad-free experience of HBO Max for the ad-free experience of Radio U, and then just deal with a few ads on HBO Max because they are going to start offering the ad-supported version later this year in June, I think, for $9.99 a month.
Let's just say $10, okay? $10 compared to the current $15 price for HBO Max that's been going on. It just depends. Was $5 attractive enough to have the ad-supported version of it, or do you want to just pay to not have it, or do you not want HBO Max at all?
Yeah, it kind of feels like it should be more of a discount that you would get if you are going to deal with the ads. I guess it depends if it's like one ad before a show starts, or if it's just going to be like a full-on ad experience. How much it's worth to get the discount, but I think I'm just okay with doing the ad-free version. It's pretty nice, actually, to not deal with the ads. As we all know here on Radio U, it's good to not have to worry about it.
Well, what they want is they want you to at least try it. So they think that if they make a $10 version, they're trying to meet like a quota, like they're trying to meet a subscription number, and they want to have between 120 to 150 million subscribers by the end of 25. So like that's their goal.
Right.
So if they can get you started and they think the $10 is attractive enough, then what you'll do is join, and then 2 days in, be so tired of the ads, but so interested.
Yeah, you love the content.
So then you'll just click and switch to the $15 one. So then that way you're not watching
another $5 a month.
They assume you'll probably do that.
For people like maybe, I don't know if people do this, but people are just ready to get into the streaming world. They're ready for their first subscription. What will it be? And if HBO Max is cheaper than Netflix, at least they have a cheaper option. It might be a way to lure people more towards HBO Max as well. Compared to Netflix, just the prices keep going up and up.
That's
and it
the
may
problem.
be commercial free, but it's going up and up, and the content isn't as much.
Are you saying its quality is not going up and up?
Yes, because the quantity is there for sure.
Oh, that's true. They'll just shove everything they had back in the vault and they'll just put it all out and call it good. So that's in June. If you're interested for HBO Max, they're doing a advertise supported streaming version, and that'll be $10. The other one, that current one, is $15, and that's been out since May of last year.
Yeah, so HBO Max, they're giving people options. It doesn't hurt anybody, right? It's not a bad thing to have the choice if you want it.
I think that's true. I think we all just need to realize, and I know this is what I changed. I changed to last year. I was like, no, we're going to cut back. We're going to not do that. And then I was just like, what? Let's just, if you want the streaming service for the month, do the streaming service for the month.
You can float them around, you know,
go
bounce back and
cancel,
forth. Right.
Pause it, do whatever you want, which sounds horrible.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to keep track of the pausing.
Yeah.
You know, the stopping the subscriptions. It's easy to, well, we'll just start this one for the month. It's hard to be, well, we're going to stop this one now. So, especially when like you log in and then they're like, no, please don't go.
Oh, they guilt you?
And you see that one thing, you're like, well, I might want to watch that. So it's hard to really break free.
Well, don't feel bad. If you want something streaming service-wise, enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, then go take it away or just pause it for a bit.
Yeah, right.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast, RadioU.
Take Peabod and just take that song if you're going to travel this summer. And when you're going through the TSA checkpoints and stuff at the airport, you just need to play that for everybody.
Yep. You just gotta. It'll help ease everyone's tension a little bit. Yeah.
Well, they're saying that, it's very hard right now to find people to fill jobs up. If you look anywhere, everybody's hiring for something.
Right.
And that includes the TSA.
At least the like the lower wage or, more of the grunt work type jobs, because like the bigger jobs, of course, they became very hard to find, but it's everything else. It's all the like simpler or, lower tier stuff that everybody
we call that the entry level.
Entry level. Yes. That's a great point. That's a great point. Great way to put it.
TSA is just giving a little heads up that if you're planning on traveling basically after Memorial Day and throughout the summertime, they have been really publicly talking about needing more TSA workers. And so that'd be, you going through the airport, TSA checks your stuff, you get on the plane, there you go. They have an extreme shortage of staff members for that position. So since February, they've been doing job fairs, signing bonuses, like all this stuff to try to get enough people by Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Well, they're not. So there's just a little warning to let you know that you might have a bit more of a wait time going through security at an airport, because out of the 6,000 jobs they wanted to fill, there are about 3,000 filled, and that's it.
Yeah. You think summer travel this year is probably, this is going to be part of it. Like we talked about with the baseball, people are just going to be excited to be able to get back out and do it this year more so than they were able to last year. So there's going to be a lot of people taking a trip that didn't get to last year. A lot more people maybe flying. And then the TSA, I feel like I hear about them having issues finding people to work there anyways, because it's a very thankless job. Like, it's a hard job, I feel, people and you have a lot of people that are just predisposed to really be annoyed with you anyways. Why
don't we try to think of it this way? If you're going through security, maybe a thank you or a good morning, a how's your day going, if you're going through it. But people get mad. There's, stuff they have to check. And it's just not going to be good.
They're just doing their job, and it's unfortunate that you have to be in the situation where they also are doing their job.
Yeah, but they don't have enough.
Their job is a big inconvenience to everybody.
Pretty much.
It needs to be done.
And they take it out on them. I was wrong. I said 3,000. The agency has hired about 2,200. It's not even 3,000.
They're not even halfway there.
So there's job openings if you're wanting to get into that field. They did like a $500 bonus signing thing. If you filled out the paperwork for your background check, like they were trying everything. So TSA just said that for domestic flying here in the summertime, expect there to be some increased volume times while you're trying to get through airports.
Yeah, good luck with that.
The Riot isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the Riot. RadioU.
So if you want a new space show to watch and you're like, but I love MMA fighting, well, then there's something for you.
Yeah, it's perfect for you.
How about Galactic Combat? It'll be a 12-episode reality show running sometime in 2023.
Uh-huh.
And it's being produced by Space 11, a production company.
Uh-huh.
And it's the first MMA fight in space.
This is really funny, though, because they're billing it out. It's this reality show, space MMA fighting.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Looks like it's going to be only the last two finalists in the final episode will be the ones fighting in space.
Yeah.
The whole rest of it is about training to fight in space.
Listen, you got to start with something, Hudson. You got to start. It'll be 40 MMA fighters. They'll learn how to train. So, that's the episodes of the Galactic Combat show.
Yeah, the first 11 episodes won't be in space.
They're going to train you to fight how to fight in zero gravity for cage fighting. The cage fighting part is a part of it. And then they'll have that final battle for the two winners or the two last remaining MMA fighters.
I feel that once it gets to space, the actual fight in space is actually probably a lot less impressive than you think.
Well, I think it'll
With
be
zero gravity.
It'll be slower, and yes, it will be less.
I think it'll
impressive.
look a lot less violent and a lot less threatening. It'll just be kind of very innocent looking.
And I think
they'll still be in the MMA outfits
now,
and whatever. So.
We won't know everything until you're closer to 2023.
Yeah, it's still a ways away.
I don't think the space stuff, they're training for a lot of the show. And then the last big fight, that's the one that's in orbit.
Right.
So the last two standing go into space for the final event on a custom retrofitted rocket. And then as it orbits Earth for 90 minutes, that's when the fight is.
Wow. I just that it'll be impressive that they can pull it off. I guess I will say that.
Well, it'll just be hard because they won't know until they're there.
Yeah, and it I don't know. It feels that they really want to do the fight in space thing, and then they were trying to figure out a way to justify it. You know what I mean? Try to find a way to make a whole show out of it when it really shouldn't it be just more of a pay-per-view event?
That's kind of it. I mean, they don't say how this will air or where it'll air. And at first when I read it, I thought, wow, you get to go up into space and train. None of that's done up there. It's all here. And then, like we said, the last episode of the last thing will be that final event. They're going to train like astronauts train, but then add the MMA fighting style into it.
Then maybe they actually will have to go into that big centrifuge thing that spins around.
Well, I think also you train a lot in water, so they'll see what all will be possible for their fighting style.
Yeah, which also makes it sound even less interesting to watch. It's just the MMA guys, and they're all doing.
Here's what I'm going to do:
yoga in the water or whatever.
It's Galactic Combat, 12 episodes, sometime in 23, fighting in space. Now, I'm going to click out of the story because I think we won't hear about it until then.
Not until then.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Christiansburg, Virginia seems to be the site of a Wings testing drone program.
Okay.
So Wings is a part of Alphabet, and Alphabet is the corporate parent of Google.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like there's a lot of money in this town.
Yes, right.
Someone from Google and Alphabet must live in that area.
It's an affluent area.
I believe so. It feels like it from this article, but I'm not 100% sure. So Alphabet has Wing, which is a delivery drone testing service where they'll do medication, food, FedEx packages, things like that you can sign up and have delivered through a drone program.
Okay.
So for this, they are now committing to at least do 3,000 boxes. But if the demand increases, they'll do more. But they are committing to delivering Girl Scout cookies to Christiansburg area in Virginia to help since sales are down so much.
Yeah, initially I was thinking Girl Scouts doing deliveries by drones, like how are they able to afford that? Mm-hmm. How are the Girl Scouts able to afford to
They're not.
get this service? Yeah.
This is just a nice thing.
Right. And then I also thought, well, wait, they do charge a lot for those cookies. So
they do. But this, I think the drone program's doing this as promotion for them.
A nice thing. Yeah.
It is. Because basically, last year with the pandemic and Girl Scout cookies not being able to be sold in person.
Yeah.
They make most of their money that way because that's when we're down the most.
Right.
Like you're just in person, you can't say no. Yep. You're weak.
Yeah.
So you buy cookies where you could be strong and not make an online order.
Yep.
But they're not coming to your door.
Right.
They're not outside the stores.
It's hard to say no to cookies, especially when there's like girls at Walmart offering you cookies.
I know. And
how can you say no to that box of Thin Mints?
You're like, well, maybe one box would be fine.
Yeah, and if not, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know. It's just you're gonna. Do you really have the heart to say no to these little children?
Not when they're in person.
No.
Now online you can, but they've had record sales for online Girl Scout cookie delivery stuff. But it doesn't compare and it doesn't make up for not selling in person.
Yeah.
So like there was an article of like hundreds of thousands of boxes still in like this town's warehouse because they just can't do it.
You know what they should do?
Bring them here?
I was just going to say, I guess I'm not thinking big enough because I was just going to say discount them
here.
so I can afford more and then I'll buy more.
Nope, they don't want to discount them. They don't want it all. So they are committed to doing 3,000 boxes by drone delivery so you can use the Wings app in that area. This is only in this town in Virginia. This is nowhere else. Or if you go to the website for the town, you can place an order through the end of May.
It's a drone. Let's just fly it on up here.
Fly it on over. Well, we have our local area's Girl Scout cookies.
I guess we should support them. Somebody was trying to sell me something outside of Walmart the other day.
Oh, was it that?
It might have been. The problem was
it an off-brand?
I was able to say no. I didn't pay a lot of attention because I was walking out of Walmart.
Yeah.
I had a fish tank. I only went to Walmart to buy a fish tank.
You bought a fish tank?
It wasn't for me. I was picking it up for somebody else, but it's a giant fish tank.
Yeah.
My arms are full of the fish tank, and on the way out, they're like, hey, can you buy this thing? And I'm like, my arms are full of a fish tank.
Listen, you didn't want to, and that shows, because you could have just put the fish tank down, and that would have been the perfect place to put all the cookies in. Because there's not fish in the fish tank, there?
No, there wasn't. It was empty.
So outside of drone delivery, Amazon's been working on that. There's been a few other counties and like areas that are looking at it and companies, but this is only in this town in Virginia for now.
If you've ever asked yourself, just how bad can it get? We've got your answer right here. Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
Celebrities, they're just like you and me. Sometimes they even try to eat at IHOP.
Actually, I think Adam Sandler, he's notoriously known for being like super nice.
Yeah.
In
just
the celebrity world.
A normal fella.
Yeah, a normal guy. So I think out of all the ones who would walk into IHOP, I think Adam Sandler feels just about right.
Yes. And the most normal thing he could do was go to IHOP. They tell him it's a 30-minute wait, and he walks away.
I know. He turns around and leaves.
Everyone should walk out of IHOP if they don't seat you immediately. Not out of anger at IHOP, but just it's not worth waiting for.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, this TikTok trended because a server was working at IHOP, and she didn't notice that it was Adam Sandler and I think his daughter because he was wearing a mask.
Right.
He walks in, and so it shows that she went back to look at the security footage.
Yep.
And pretty sure it is Adam Sandler.
Yeah, so she realizes after the fact that she turned Adam Sandler away, almost like implying that
she was it was all nice.
Right, yeah, but she's thinking if she had known, maybe she would have just said, all right, you're Adam Sandler, I'll figure it out.
You can come in.
But I don't know, I think it was, I think this played out the way it should have.
Yeah.
Like, because he probably wouldn't have, if he is such a normal and nice guy, he wouldn't have wanted to cut in front of people in line at IHOP.
Oh, it depends on all the other people. Also, they would have been fine.
It is, sometimes I think when we go to a restaurant and we hear that there's a wait.
Yeah.
I feel that sometimes we don't take into account, like, well, I don't want to wait here, but it's also a hassle to go somewhere else because you might have a wait and you just have to drive or walk or whatever to the other place.
That's very practical of you, Hudson.
Yes, it is. Sometimes maybe you just should wait.
By the time you find someplace else, you're way past the 30 minutes. And who knows if it was actually going to end up being 30 minutes. But
yeah, because they always tell you more time than it actually should be.
She was just really sad because she didn't get to recognize and say hi to Adam Sandler.
It would have been nice if she could at least acknowledge, sorry, Adam Sandler.
Yeah. So she would like him to come back.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. You think he'll be back at some point, especially now that this has gone viral?
Well, if it went viral, if I was him, I would, because that's just a super nice thing to do.
Yeah.
And again, it seems like he's a super nice guy, but so far he's not gone back yet.
We'll see what happens. And then in the comments, there's people saying yeah, he is super nice. I've served him before. And people just seem so impressed that he didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, I didn't throw a
he
fit.
could have been, I'm Adam Sandler, give me a table. But really, I mean, I know celebrities, some of them have a bad, some of them do have a bad reputation for that. But how sad would it be don't you know who I am at IHOP?
Well, I
can't
don't know.
Wait 30 minutes.
I don't know if the ones that would throw a fit are going into IHOP in the first place.
Right.
Which is,
that's a good point.
We all want pancakes. That's fine. So we don't have to be mean or snobby about it.
No, yeah. We don't have to make a big deal of it. But yeah, I guess maybe the ones that take themselves a little more seriously.
Yeah, wouldn't be.
Maybe aren't the IHOP type.
They would have had someone come in and pick it up so they can eat their pancakes in private.
Right. And not they're too good. They don't even want their name associated with IHOP.
Exactly.
They wouldn't bring themselves that low, so they're just doing it in secret.
So Adam Sandler, if you ever catch wind of what's going on, she would like you to come back. They all would like you to come back to the IHOP, and then maybe you can get a seat at that time.
I think they'll let you right in next time. They'll have a special eye out for you.
Lower your mask just a tiny bit, and you got a table right away. She's not going to do that again.
Maybe do the water boy voice.
Oh yeah, it's hey, it's me, guys.
Yeah.
We would say rate and review the podcast, but let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than hell. The worst of the Riot podcast.
Text me at 877-2-RADIO-U why you think gambling in Vegas is at record high numbers.
Yes,
the month of March.
The biggest month in 8 years since I guess that'd be 2013. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've set new records, and it's not that hard to when you really just sit and think. Why would the numbers be up?
There's 2 or 3 answers to it, but I'm just curious if anybody would guess the reason that at first I didn't think, but it makes total sense afterwards.
Yep, it all adds up.
So feel free to text at 877-2-RADIO-U if you happen to have a clue. But Vegas casinos are posting their biggest month, and this is from March. That's the most recent numbers. And it is the biggest month in 8 years for gambling. And someone texted and guessed it already.
They did. They got it.
I'll give that to them in a second. So they count casinos in Las Vegas for the Strip. They say winnings have gone over $501 million.
For 1 month.
So that's up 67%. And then statewide, so for all of Nevada, casinos raked in $1 billion in winnings, which is the highest level in 8 years.
Yeah, that's really huge. Up 67% versus last year, which this is the height of everybody staying at home last year. Well, I guess in March they had half a month. Yeah. So really, wait till next month, or the numbers for this month come out, and you'll see how bad it was.
How bad?
Where Vegas was actually closed for the first time in forever.
So Robbie gets it. Robbie says all that stimulus money.
Yeah,
and that
right.
is 100% it. There are a couple other factors, but stimulus seems to be. Adam guessed it. Katie said the stimmy check. You're absolutely right. The other factors in, they say, gambling being so back and so much more would be in March was March Madness.
Yep, and people were it was the first time they were able to go to Vegas and gamble stuff for a long time. Yeah, for a big event like that.
So that was it. And then they also say because vaccinations, a lot of people were just by March ready to go back and be around and more comfortable with going back into the casinos.
Yeah, I don't know because like for most places, it was the older folks that were able to get vaccinated first, and they love casinos.
They gamble more than you realize.
Have you ever been to a casino?
Oh yeah,
and, like look at the clientele. Maybe not on like a busy Saturday night,
sure,
but just like generally.
Well,
look around a casino, see who's there, listen to the music they're playing,
and see who they're catering to.
Yeah.
Evening casinos are different than daytime casinos.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
In daytime casinos, you get a lot of an older crowd. They say that when casinos in Nevada opened, it was last June, it was very sluggish still because people were still pandemic fears with it, and there were so much restrictions, but that's been way open. But to this article, and probably to what we're thinking too, the stimulus
that was a big deal.
It's the reason, because everybody went to go spend their stimulus checks back in Vegas.
Yeah, apparently you get, well, they call that free roll. You get a bunch of money that it's like if you didn't need the stimulus check, I'm sure there's a lot of smart things you could have done with it, but maybe to some this felt like an investment. It's just like, hey, what do I have to lose? I didn't have this $1,400 earlier, so hey, let's see what we can turn it into.
And two, I thought like, oh, so that's like Vegas people, right? No, it's people traveling from other places into Vegas because their states maybe had more stricter COVID rules, and so they could go to an area that had less restrictive rules.
Yeah, that was a big part of it too.
They had a lot of money to take with them.
Well, you know what they say? They aren't building those big old buildings out there in Vegas
for no reason.
They're not doing that for free. Let's put it that way.
Well, they're using all your stimulus money, and they were happy to see that the biggest numbers in over 8 years just this past March.
Gambling is alive and well, and so is Vegas.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on Radio U.
We continue to be so fascinated with cicadas because it's coming as far as we know.
Maybe we talk about it when you're in a lot because you're from, Maryland. But and it seems like every cicada story has been about Maryland right now.
Yeah, there really seems in Maryland there's like an extra level of cicada freak out happening.
Warning.
And I just don't know because I'm only old enough to have experienced cicadas once.
Yeah.
And it was in Maryland, and it was like it really was like like a plague or something. Like there's just so many of them. But I thought it was kind of like, well, wherever the cycle comes up, it's like that everywhere.
Sure.
But I don't know if it's going to be like that, like where we live now and everything. I don't know.
Well, since you're here, I'm afraid that they're like, Hudson.
They're going to follow me.
They're going to come out of the ground to try to find you.
Either way, in Maryland, it is really huge. And so the city of Ocean City in Maryland, they have declared themselves a 100% cicada-free zone, and they're trying to encourage people to come visit during the cicada season because they'll be able to get away from the cicadas. But it's a little misleading because Ocean City, of course, is on the ocean. It is a beach town. And so there's not a lot of cicadas need. One thing is trees because they all like feast on trees when they're still in the ground, supposedly. And then when they emerge, then they need, and the soil too. But Ocean City is on the beach, so it's all sand and not a lot of trees. So there's nowhere the cicadas wouldn't be there anyways. It's not like they've quarantined the city somehow to keep the cicadas away.
Sure.
It's just naturally not going to be cicadas. But either way, you can get away from them there.
For the resort area, they can't survive in sandy soil.
Right.
So that soil. So technically, if you live in an area with sandy soil, then you're probably not going to have much of the cicadas this summer, anyways. But just remember, I think it's in a few weeks where they're supposed to emerge from 17 years underground.
I feel that like by Memorial Day, it's going to be a big thing.
When things are nice, perfect time. And then they last like 4 or 6 weeks, maybe more depending on your area. But they're just promoting that you want a summer in Ocean City so that you can have a break from these terrible creatures.
And to be clear, in Maryland, that's what people usually do anyway.
Is that it?
Every state kind of has their one thing that's like, if you're from the state and especially the people that like they live there and they never leave the state. But so this is where they go on vacation. That Ocean City is absolutely the place in Maryland.
Well,
there you'll meet people that have never left the state in their whole lives,
but they go
and
there.
It's because their vacation is Ocean City, and that's as far as they'll go.
That's the big thing to do.
Yeah.
This article also talks about like, well, if you need to work out and be outside during this cicada season, they encourage you to get these walking pods, like portable protector things that go over.
Yeah.
I only know how to explain it as when it rains and if you go to Chick-fil-A, the mesh thing that they wear over their body.
Yeah.
Like when you're going and ordering outside.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a non-rain version of that.
Right.
I don't know what bugs they're getting.
Yeah.
If it's going to be that bad.
The cicadas are going to be really... It's funny, they show a guy mowing his lawn with it on, and it's like if the cicadas are so bad that you have to wear the... It looks like to me those little mesh laundry hampers.
Yes, that's it.
That's what it is.
Stay
If you have to
inside.
wear that, then the lawn is too infested with cicadas to mow anyways. Like you just give it a... And think of all the cicadas you'd be chopping up with your mower.
You're right.
So really, what are you doing out there in that condition?
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So how about some free Taco Bell? We're used to that here in the United States.
Yes.
No offense if you like. It's not hard to get a free taco from Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's just there's that handful of places. Krispy Kreme and Taco Bell are the two main culprits that just feel like they're always giving away. Like they're really, how are they even making money because they give so much stuff away?
So maybe it doesn't feel as special to us, but this is actually Taco Bell's very first global promotion that they're doing at the same time. So that's why they're a little bit more excited. But on May 4th, they're celebrating Taco Moon, which on May 4th, the moon will look like a taco. They're celebrating a lunar phase that they call Taco Moon, and you can get a free taco on May 4th. Now, depending on where you're at globally, there'll be 20 markets that they're doing, including the United States. Each market can have like a different free item.
Oh, okay.
So like they were saying in like Guatemala, like it's not the same as if you're in the United States, or if you're in another country, you'll get something for each area.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Taco Moon in a way.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I guess the moon will look like a taco. Sometimes it does. I always think of it as either a banana or a fingernail, but it could be a fingernail clipping. But it could be a taco when it's at the right, the right stage of the moon phase.
So the United States offering will be a free crunchy taco on May 4th. I mentioned like in India, customers will get a free black bean or crunchy seasoned chicken taco. The UK is doing it, Australia, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and more. So there'll be local versions of those deals. But in the United States, it's a free crunchy taco on May 4th.
And there's all kinds of other promotions. So don't feel bad, I guess, if you miss out on this one. You'll still find a way to get a free taco.
One.
Plus, this is the $1 taco thing, I think. So it's not that exciting. You would never order, I would never order this
just
if I went to Taco Bell. Yeah.
So for Taco Moon, though, it is the biggest promotion for Taco Bell. It'll be the most tacos given away on a single day. On May 4th, you can go in-store all day, or you have to get it on the app or online.
Okay.
If you want to go, in-store is only from 8 until midnight. So 8 p.m. until midnight.
Okay. Because of the moon.
Because of the moon.
Yep.
Or all day on May 4th through the app or online.
Actually, this is really brilliant. This idea that it's for the taco moon. No, the moon idea, because now, think about it. Maybe you never thought about the moon as a taco before. I didn't, but now every time you see it, you're going to think taco, and then you're going to think Taco Bell. And so every night you'll be down at the Taco Bell.
We'll pray underneath the Taco Bell moon as we go to sleep. And then remember, we talked about McDonald's is doing their free McFlurry thing next week.
Yeah.
So if you plan it out right, you can have a free taco.
It's going to be a big week. And if you have your...
and a McFlurry.
Yep. If you have your vaccinations, you go get your free Krispy Kreme. I saw Chipotle is giving away free burritos to healthcare workers now to say thank you for the past year.
Where do you go when you need someone to listen to your problems and give you a big hug? Not here. Obviously, this is The Riot on RadioU.
Lodi Township, Michigan. I didn't know where that was, so I just looked it up for this story, but I just typed in Lodi Township into the Google search bar, and what comes up? Lodi Township poop wall.
This is it.
That's what Google knows that I want to see, but...
This is all this town will be known for.
Yes, it is. But Lodi Township is near Ann Arbor, and, somebody's built a poop wall.
And I didn't catch what that meant when I was seeing the article, just the title of it. But it's basically, instead of like a wall made out of stone or dirt, other traditional methods of it, this person, is it out of like cow poop or something?
Yeah, it's manure of some kind. And the reason being is... apparently, there's a property line dispute.
This feels right
and
now.
So they're trying to this one person, one of the two, I think Wayne Lambarth is the neighbor that is on the the bad side of this, because his other neighbor built the poop wall because he thinks that's where the property line is mine. And so I'm putting a mark here.
He's making a
You're
statement.
not going to want to be near the property line anyways, because I've got this big poop wall going.
That guy says it's not a poop wall, it's a compost fence.
Of course.
So get it right, because you're saying it wrong. He told his neighbor if you don't like the poop, then they said some naughty words to each other, and then something about milk, and then they went back to working on their farm. So they are still mad at each other, and then everybody in the surrounding area is mad too, because you just open up your window and it extra smells like poop.
Because the line where he has this wall built is near, like, if it's just out in a farm, that's one thing to have your compost pile or whatever you want to call it. But this is fairly near to a neighbor's house that this guy is actually renting out.
Yeah.
So these people that really have nothing to do with it at all,
they get the worst of it.
They say they can't leave their windows open because there's a compost pile right outside their window.
Remember, it's a compost fence.
A compost fence.
Not a poop wall.
No, not a poop wall.
And what I love the most is just because, like, in our area, if there's a picturesque sort of field, like, people are always taking pictures.
Yeah.
Just because, if you're especially more in the city and you go out to go see some of the countryside,
right.
When you're looking at a photo of this compost fence, I wonder, I think it's far enough away that they probably would never have that. But if someone just pulled over this is so beautiful, I'm going to take some Insta pics.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to this wall and just take a nice photo and just pose and stuff. And I'm sure you can tell by the smell, but by looking at it.
Yeah, it doesn't look so bad.
From a distance, I would just think that's a farm fence.
Right,
I wouldn't know it was made out of it.
A big pile of dirt along the property line, but no, it is actually it's something much more foul.
So when you have a fight and you are farmers, this is how
this is one way to do it.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I think this is interesting. We've had this article we've been sitting on for the last couple of days, and I didn't catch that this is the ability to add, like product placements in movies and shows.
Right. James Bond is famous for it.
Everything's famous.
And I remember one of the previous times I filled in, it was a big deal that in James Bond, because it is so important, the movie... The new movie that's coming out was made now to where some of the products in the movie are no longer relevant or no longer what the companies want to promote. So they're having to go back and digitally redo some of those.
You have to update it.
Right. And, now it's not just the new James Bond movie that's getting digitally replaced ads in it. It's going to be possibly really old movies.
Yeah, classic movies. They were saying, this is not classic, but they've had a few items or a few shows in China, and then they said Modern Family tried it, where you might be watching a show that's streaming years later, it's gone, and the advertisements they think are long and done with it. But what they could do is update the advertisements in the show so that you're able to see a current product. So now you have, and then for classic movies, you could put in product placement where there never was one in the beginning.
Right, yeah. They're showing this, basically it's a guy getting off a motorcycle. It's Steve McQueen, and there's this big field behind them, which they say perfect place for a cleverly placed billboard for something.
It's weird to think they can do it, but they say that will be something that we'll be experiencing more. Product placements in this article, they talk about the first example was from a 1919 Buster Keaton comedy movie called The Garage. It was the first time to have product placement, had logos of gas and motor oil companies in it.
Right, where it was actually paid for.
Yeah, exactly. That was the first time, and now it's everywhere.
Right. It's a huge deal now, but this is a good argument. Finally, I feel people have one for why you should buy your movies and actually own them.
Because they can't change it in that.
Like one day you might be watching a classic movie. You could be watching Citizen Kane or Paddington 2, and it would have all these digital ads it placed in it that weren't there the first time. And, like, I wonder how they would do this, because if it's older movies and stuff and they just put modern ads in there, it will look so out of place. So there really need to be a way for them to make it look like it fits.
They would make it stylized to look like the older parts of the movie, but it would be a modern name that you'd be familiar with.
Right.
So it'd be like, Coca-Cola's in there, but the ad would match that style.
It would be so weird if you were watching even the idea of I'm watching some old movie from the 60s or something, and there's like an ad for something, I don't know, an Apple ad in there would be, even if it looks like it fits what's going on, it would still, if you noticed it, would almost take you out of the movie a bit, because you're like, wait, Apple wasn't around then.
But they say that with advertisements, if done well, you're not really noticing it. You're noticing it on a different level.
Yeah.
So this would also be, and if you know anything about advertising and how, your eyeballs on it and how long you need to see it before you really internalize it, they say, well, they can really tailor these advertising in these classic movies and these old shows, or like even a TV show from a few years ago that is the new popular one to stream.
Right.
So say like Friends or The Office.
Oh no, I was going to say The Office. There's
that would be it. They could go back,
digital ads,
and they could update the ads in it and put in placements that weren't there, and you might just not notice it to be annoyed by it. Or they could say, all right, in this episode of Friends, here's 4 weeks that this drink is going to be here. Then they can change it, and you're streaming it, and you don't even know.
Yeah. It's very clever
Shady.
in a way, but yes, it is. You do feel very, you just feel so like you're just a big cog in the system.
But that's all we were anyways.
You're just playing your part, just going out and buying the stuff they advertise to you. You're just a dumb person watching TV. You don't know any better.
Might not realize it, but you're getting so much advertising at you, and that doesn't change even if it's something old.
And it's hard to be mad about all of it.
That's right.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
You ready for some breakfast?
I actually think this is a great idea.
It's a great idea, and it's dangerous.
It is, and I feel like it. Could you get fired for it later on down the road?
Maybe.
But if that's the risk that you're willing to take, but it's a Good Fortune Burger restaurant, which it's 2 of their locations, and it looks like they have a few more in Toronto.
Right, but this is in Canada. Yeah, Toronto.
It's in Canada, but it's a great idea. People have finally noticed that they offer, I think it's through Uber Eats, if they order through that.
Uber Eats, DoorDash, they're telling people that, or they've renamed their menu items, I should say, so that on your receipt they would come up as like office supplies instead of as burgers, so that you could get away with hopefully maybe expensing them on your office card.
It's a great thing. They say like, well, maybe you're at home and you're working through your lunch and you're still eating. So technically, are you having a lunch, or do you want to expense it? And you felt a little bad before. Now it could just look like you're buying office supplies.
Right. You could this is the type of thing, maybe if you're really like, I just want to eat a nice lunch, I want to treat myself, that's not on my dime.
Yeah.
You could probably get away with it once if you were clever about it, but
I wouldn't do this often.
Eventually, because the items are like ergonomic laptop stand or whatever, they're like, why are you buying so many laptop stands?
Well, then your employer's going to want to see where all these things are.
Right.
So like one is Post-it notes and all this, and they're going to want to see the Post-it notes.
Right. Yeah. So you're going to get caught eventually, but this is just a one-off maybe thing. But the names that they've come up with really are great, though, for some of the some of the burgers and the menu items, like ergonomic aluminum laptop stand. And that is a double fortune burger. That's that's like if you want to go big, or you could just go with the silicone keyboard cover burger.
That's good.
And that's doing it the way you want.
So people online, of course, loved it, except a few reasonable people who said, well, wait a minute. It's a good idea, but if you really are doing this, because, I mean, this is just a joke, but if you really try to make this work, they're going to call you on if you bought a laptop stand every week. They're going to have questions about it, and then they're going to notice you, and you don't want to be noticed.
Exactly.
When you're working, you just want to really not be noticed most days.
This gives you the opportunity then, if you can just try all the different items on the menu. One week, you order the laptop stand.
And then the next.
Then maybe next time you need to buy a new pair of wired earphones with mic. And then next time you get the silicone keyboard cover, you just get it all. You try one every week, and maybe you can get away that way.
So if you do the Good Fortune Burger in Toronto, they do say that if you're through Uber Eats or DoorDash, you can choose just the regular section. It's not all the food.
Okay.
So you can choose the regular section, or you can have fun and go to the section that has the titling for the items in the fun office supply way.
Yeah, I like this. This is a good idea. And, well, I think it's a good idea. This is too far away from us, because it would be tempting, wouldn't it?
It's tempting.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.